Hey beauties! Welcome back to the show. How have you guys been? If any of you have been so busy and exhausted that you haven't taken care of yourselves, or if you've just been feeling lazy with your skincare lately, you know this is the right time. And in fact, I'm also making this content to kind of force myself to take better care of myself, so yeah, feel free to join me. Anyways, today we're going to talk about a famous urban legend from Taiwan. And you know, the nature of Thailand is beautiful. Mountains stretch like green giants, river glisten under the sun, and at night, the cities glow like stars fallen to earth. But in every beautiful place, shadows linger, and sometimes those shadows don't just stay in the dark, they follow you home. And one of the most feared stories in Taiwan is about a little girl. They call her the little girl in red. It's actually an urban legend born from something caught on tape. So, as always, grab your skincare, light a candle, and let's get into today's story. There was a time when ghost shows were all the rage on Taiwanese TV. People loved to watch strange clips, haunted houses, eerie encounters, shaky camcorder footage. But one night, a video aired that would make even the most skeptical viewers uneasy. At first glance, it looked harmless. It was a family trip, recorded on an old camcorder. Just a picnic in the woods, laughter, music, the sound of leaves crunching underfoot. But when people replayed the tape, they noticed something. A small figure, a girl dressed in red, and she wasn't supposed to be there. The family never mentioned her. No one remembered seeing her on the trail. Yet, there she was, silently walking among them. And after that day, nothing in their lives was ever the same again. Okay, so let's go back to understand how this urban legend went viral. It all began in 1998. During that year, TV programs competed to be the scariest, and one of the most popular was GTV's Ghost and Spirits. They shared paranormal experiences from viewers, along with eerie videos found on the internet. And one clip in particular became the talk of the nation, and the seed of an urban legend. At first, the video seemed ordinary, just hikers recording their day. But then came the unease. Even journalists writing about it claimed their laptops malfunctioned, dizziness struck, and nausea crept in as if the girl herself didn't want the story told. So this tape came from March 1st, 1998. A family had gone on a picnic at the Dakeng hiking trails in Taichung, Taiwan. They laughed, sang songs, and played games, capturing everything on their V8 camcorder, just like any of us would on a family outing. The cameraman held the V8 camcorder steady, recording every laugh, every song, every little moment of that picnic. The angles shifted from time to time, sometimes focusing on the trees, sometimes on the trail, sometimes just capturing the chatter of the Hua family. Nothing unusual, just like an ordinary day filled with ordinary happiness. Weeks later, tragedy struck. One of the family members suddenly passed away. To honor him, the whole Hua family gathered together, deciding to relive that sunny day by rewatching the picnic footage. At first, the room was full of warmth, smiles, laughter, voices overlapping as they talked about those simple, happy moments. But then, something appeared. In the recording, a figure stood where no one should have been. Not a hiker, not a passerby, someone who hadn't been there at all. There was a girl. She was trailing the family, always a few steps behind, and she was dressed in bright red. At first glance, maybe she could have been mistaken for another visitor, but the more they replayed the tape, the clearer it became that something was wrong. Her skin was too pale, almost waxy. Her face blurred, impossible to fully make out. And then those eyes, or rather the absence of them, two dark hollow sockets staring directly at the camera. The Hua family sat frozen. They had no memory of any child in the forest that day. No other families had crossed their path. No little girl skipping behind them. Her presence was impossible. And yet, there she was. But that wasn't even the most disturbing part. In one part of the video, one of the Hua family members looked different. His mouth opened slightly, and from it extended sharp, elongated fangs, like something from an old folklore painting of demons. The camera didn't blur. It wasn't a trick of the light. The fangs were there, clear as day. But when they looked at another footage of the video, there was nothing wrong with his teeth. He looked perfectly normal, just like any other human. And there is another chilling detail. This man, he was the same family member who had died just weeks earlier. The one they had gathered to remember. And this revelation shook not only the Hua family, but also the TV crew who handled the footage. The production team at Ghosts and Spirits decided this was too big, too terrifying to pass over, so they would feature it as one of their most exclusive investigations. But the horror didn't stop with the broadcast. One of the assistant editors, someone who prided himself on being skeptical, was assigned to work on the footage late into the night. He had seen plenty of hoaxes before. Grainy shadows, fake screams, silly tricks. So to him, this was just another video to splice and clean up. He imported the raw footage to the editing software, and there she was, the girl in red, tucked between the trees, always following, always watching them. He rewound the clip again and again, adjusting the timing, trying to find the perfect moment to highlight. But the more he focused on her, this girl, the more he noticed her eyes, or the endless black where her eyes should have been. It felt wrong, as if the void in her face wasn't just a recording, but something that looked back. And for some reason, he felt the office air growing heavy. A cold draft crept in, though no windows were open. Goosebumps rippled over his arms. He was alone. He knew he was alone, but he felt the pressure of someone standing right behind his chair. So slowly, he turned. And there was nothing. The editing room was empty, dimly lit, only the hum of the computer filling the silence. So feeling uneasy, he stood and switched on every light in the office. The bright fluorescent glow pushed away the shadows, but not the chill gnawing at his spine. And when he returned to his desk, his heart stopped. The footage had changed. He was certain, absolutely certain, that the frame had frozen on the girl in the distance. But now, she wasn't far away anymore. She filled the screen. Her pale face, her hollow sockets, staring back as though she had heard his thoughts. Panic surged and he shoved back from his desk, the chair toppling behind him. He had worked in this business long enough to laugh at ghost stories, but this was too much. Without even shutting down the system, he bolted out of the office, running into the night. But that night wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. That night, he finally made it home, exhausted, shaken, terrified, but somehow he managed to fall asleep. But sleep didn't keep him long. Because in the middle of the night, he was jolted awake by a sound. Thud, thud, thud. Not once, but over and over again, loud enough to rattle him from his dreams. So he opened his eyes, groggy, his head pounding from the stress of what he just lived through. He pressed his palm to his forehead, trying to steady himself. And then, slowly, he turned his head toward the sound. And it was coming from his desk. And there she was, the little girl in red, sitting casually on his desk as though she had always been there. Her bright red clothes vivid even in the dim light of his room. And those eyes, black, hollow sockets, locked into him, watching him. When the program finally aired, the story blew up across Taiwan. It was everywhere. People debated endlessly. Was the footage real? Who was this girl? And if she was just a hiker, why did she look like that? But then things got worse. Days after the broadcast, the TV station began receiving phone calls. Not one, 3 separate viewers called in, swearing they had seen the little girl in red inside their own homes, standing there, just watching them, as if reminding them that she existed. And with her came misfortune. One caller fell mysteriously ill. Another was in a severe car accident. Each one believed it happened because they had seen her. Word spread quickly, and soon people were calling the footage the video you should never watch alone. They were terrified of the consequences. Still, not everyone believed. Skeptics accused the program of faking the story. They said the producers had staged the whole thing to boost ratings. And yet, the hype was too big for the TV station to ignore. They milked it for everything it was worth. The producer even went on air, saying, "If anyone recognizes the little girl, please contact us." Later, the crew themselves went back to Dakang. They walked the same trails, visited nearby schools, asked the locals if they had ever seen a child like the one in the video. But nobody came forward. Nobody could give a name. The mystery got so big that another station, CTV, made a special follow-up program. They brought in the man who had shot the original footage, and that's when another revelation came. In the show, he said he never saw a girl that day. He was filming only his family, not strangers. He had no memory of anyone in red following them. But then another detail surfaced. The clip that had spread so far online, that wasn't the full video. The whole recording was over 30 minutes long. In that tape, the girl in red didn't just appear once, she appeared in several different places, again and again. But for some people, this was just the final straw. The hype began to die down. Viewers accused the program of doctoring the video. Some even called the man himself a liar. Bit by bit, the story faded, buried by time. But if you think the tale ended in 1998, you are wrong. Years later, 2014, something happened that dragged the legend back to life. An old woman, 80 years old, went on a tour to Hualien, a famous tourist spot in eastern Taiwan. She was excited like a child again, trying new foods, enjoying the scenery. Then, at one of the stops, an agriculture park, she suddenly excused herself to use the restroom, but she never came back. Her friend, who also used the toilet, said she hadn't seen her leave. She hadn't heard a footstep, not even the sound of running water inside. She had simply vanished. So apparently, panic spread quickly. The tour guide raised the alarm, and soon, with the help of locals, more than 50 people searched for her. They scoured the area, through the night, through the forest, through every possible path. The search didn't last one day. It went on for 5. On the 5th day, they found her. But where they found her made no sense. She was lying under a rock near a stream, 3 kilometers from the toilet. The area wasn't a gentle trail. It was extreme, a route meant for serious climbers, with strong streams and rocky cliffs. And this old woman, she could barely walk properly on flat ground. So how did she get there? How could she have crossed the streams, climbed rocks, and reached a place where even young hikers would struggle with? No one had an answer. Fortunately, when they finally pulled the old lady from under that rock, she was still alive. Weak, shaken, but alive. And thank God, no serious injuries. She was taken straight to the hospital, and when she woke, she told them what had happened on the day she disappeared. She said she had gone to the toilet as usual, nothing strange, but when she stepped outside, ready to meet her friend again, she noticed a girl, a little girl. She wore red clothes and carried a red umbrella. At first, there was nothing scary about her. Her face was normal, her expression was calm. But the old woman said something about her felt a little off, a little out of place, like she didn't belong to that moment, or even to this world. Before she realized it, the girl had taken her hand, gently, almost kindly. She led her toward a stream and urged her to drink the water. The old lady bent down, dazed. And then, in the distance, she heard voices, people shouting her name. The next thing she knew, she was lying under that rock in the stream, 3 kilometers away, with no memory of how she got there. And to this day, people still wonder if her disappearance was just another accident, or if maybe the girl in red had found someone new to follow. When her testimony hit the internet, people immediately made the connection. The girl in red. So the legend returned. And after that, similar stories spread like wildfire. Some claimed to see the girl wandering along empty roads in the rain. Others said she appeared only at night. And a few said she slipped into their dreams, standing silently at the foot of their bed. Soon, entire places became tied to her sightings. Roads, mountains, streams. Wherever she had been, people claimed they felt her presence. And then more stories poured in. Reporters and TV stations turned to paranormal experts, begging for answers. And the experts said something interesting. They said she isn't a ghost. She isn't even a spirit. She is a demon who lives in the mountains. In Taiwanese folklore, there is a creature called Mushenzi, a mountain demon said to lure people away. And some people believe the girl in red is connected to this legend. She appears innocent, but she leads wanderers deep into the wild, where they become lost. Some are found, many are not. And the survivors, their testimonies are all the same. They met a child, or sometimes a young woman, even a boy. That figure offered them food or water. But when rescuers found them, they weren't holding food at all. They were clutching bugs, dirt, twigs, things they had believed were food. In their minds, the encounter felt real, but in reality, they had been tricked into eating or drinking inedible things. Folklorists say this story isn't just about one girl. It reflects something bigger in Taiwan's culture, the mountains. Beautiful, but also dangerous. For centuries, people have talked about spirits in the forests, taboos about not calling names in the wild, never looking back when you hear something strange. The girl in red fits perfectly into this world, a reminder that nature isn't always what it seems. This legend even shaped popular culture. In 2015, a horror film called The Tagalong was released, directly inspired by the girl in red. And it became a huge hit, turning her image, the child in red, following quietly, caught on tape into an icon of Taiwanese horror. The movie captured the fears of modern Taiwan, modernization clashing with old beliefs, the beauty of nature hiding danger, the fragile line between the living and the dead. But whether you believe she's a ghost, or a demon, or just a story born from paranoia, one thing is certain, she has never gone away. Some say the original video was fake, maybe edited for fame. Some say the family just didn't remember crossing paths with a child. But others believe something darker, that the camera caught what the human eye could not see. So, what do you think? Do you believe the original video was real? Or was it just a man not noticing someone walking behind his family for like half an hour? Or was it something only the camera could see? Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you've got your own spine-chilling story like this, share it with me. Until then, sleep well, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.